This must be the beginning of a very strange morning for yourself, a surreal experience, standing beside the next MP for West Belfast.
Well, let's not take that for granted, but we need to get every single possible vote out here today right across West Belfast, and I would appeal to people. I'm greatly indebted to the constituents of West Belfast. They've elected me and a whole team of Sinn Féin people over a very, very long time. Paul is going to be a brilliant MP. He's an outstanding activist and a very, very experienced public representative. But we need him to win handsomely. And as Wayne Rooney would say, get every single voter out and ensure that this is a resounding victory for Sinn Féin.
The news last night that the Attorney General is reopening the inquest in the murder of George Lane. How do you take that?
Well, I think the family will be very pleased. They have fought a long and very, very hard campaign, like other victims of British terrorism and collusion. The new rules under which inquests are now governed could possibly ensure that they get the information which they're seeking. But Sinn Féin have been proposing for some time now that the way to deal with all of these legacy issues, and that's dealing with every family who seeks closure, who seeks the truth, is to invite an international body, an independent, neutral, reputable agency to establish a truth recovery process. And an independent international truth commission could then look at all of those cases. The British have the information on collusion. The British have the information which governs the conduct of their own forces here. And whether it's the Dublin Monaghan bombing, whether it's Kes Tavern bombing in Dundalk, whether it's hundreds of cases here across the north, the British should come clean. And it's just ridiculous that families should have to go through the type of loops and technical maze and labyrinth of campaigning to get even an inquest. I mean, in most societies, an inquest would be taken as effectively when someone dies a violent death, and particularly if one can look at a number of isolated instances in Britain itself where the police killed people. Inquests were held in a very, very short time, and inquiries were held in a very, very short time. Families like the Slane family are to be commended for the great diligence and grace with which they have fought this campaign.
Do you think there's any relevance to other high-level cases, in particular the Pat Finucane case?
Well, we were making the case as the Smithics Tribunal comes towards the end of its work in the south. This was one of 6 cases which were put forward for investigations. At that time there was a huge pressure upon the British government and a huge volume of support for the Finucane family internationally and nationally. I myself, but this is with deference to the families of the others whose cases have been investigated, I myself thought this was the British once again long fingering this issue. Now these other 5 cases have come towards some sort of completion. There hasn't been one day in terms of the Pat Finucane case by the British government. So I would like to think that this again, because the Finucane family have pursued this case, and we talked to the Taoiseach about this quite recently, and David Cameron will be here in Belfast later today. I'd like to think that all of this encourages him to deal with all of these issues, the high profile cases like Pat Finucane, but also all of the other cases.
Paul Maskey, over to you. The beginning of a long day. How are you feeling?
That's been beginning of one long campaign. In fact, this is close to the end of it, and I'm glad we're at this stage. And I do as Jerry says, hopefully that as many people in West Belfast come out and vote for Sinn Féin today. It's about Sinn Féin, it's not about myself. It's about representation and hard work. I'm committed and dedicated to the entire constituency of West Belfast and beyond, and that's something that we'll continue to do and work hard to get what's rightfully ours for West Belfast.
Mary Lou, over to your good self. How have you found West Belfast this time round?
Well, I feel like I didn't leave because we've bounced from one election to another, and I'm mindful that it's been a long haul for activists, but I think particularly here in West Belfast people are to be commended for the huge effort that they've put in. And I know that today people all across the constituency are going to be busy wrapping doors, getting the vote out and encouraging people to come out and give Paul Maskey the support that he deserves and that he needs to carry on the very considerable work that's been done, not just by Jerry, although by Jerry, but indeed by the whole Sinn Féin team here. And these are difficult times. They're change times, they're challenging times, but there's a real opportunity now here in Belfast and across the country to make a big difference in politics at a local level but also at a national level. So I think Paul, and we can't take anything for granted, but Paul, in his capacity as an elected rep, would be part of that growing Sinn Féin team across the country that's about delivering change and progress and hope for people.
And Barbara, the final word to you, the importance of coming out and voting today?
Oh, it's extremely important. I mean, I think it's going to be a hard job for anybody to step into a position that's been held by Gerry Adams. Fair play to Paul that he's willing to take that on and to do the job, and no better person. I mean, he's already worked in the area as a councillor, as an assembly member, as a community activist, grassroots activist on the ground. So everybody knows Paul, and in order to be able to make it clear that the support is still there, albeit I imagine with a lower turnout after the elections that we've had to date, it's very important for people to be able to say that Paul has been elected, that he's been elected with a good turnout, and that people are confident in him as their MP for the future.